Diane Fu here, head coach over at the Ready State, continuing the series with Mags on fixing her clean. So we left off in the last video talking about understanding, in my opinion, the most valuable position, which is the power position. Now we're going to slide that forward and we're going to talk about, does Mags know what to do with her hands? So Mags, can you grab that barbell and show me what grip you use? Awesome. All right, and then how you hold your shoulders and how you hold your lats.
Well, so I know that I'm supposed to start with my shoulders back and pulling back on the bar, but I feel like I only do that for the first one.
And then you lose it.
Yeah.
Right. So Max here is basically saying like, hey, I know what my posture is supposed to be like. I know what position my shoulders are, but like, how do I do it? So how many of you guys have heard your coach like say, hey, shoulders back, or hey, use your lats, right? So, and people are like, nah, what are lats? Like, I can't feel my lats, right? I can barely feel, or I have no feelings, right? So, giving Max some context behind that is going to be important. So Max here is, you'll see, is she's awesome. She's using a hook grip. What the hook grip is going to allow her to do is basically create a mini mixed grip around the bar, right? Like when the deadlift gets heavy, we switch our grip. This becomes the hook grip in Olympic style weightlifting is the weightlifter's mini mixed grip. So she's got that. It's going to allow her to be able to relax her hands and forearms, right? So that she ends up becoming connected to the bar through her lats. Now, how you construct and get your lats, you'll notice here that, Mags, if I like lift her shirt up, her elbow pits are pretty much pointing forward, which means that she's, in most contact, she's most likely screwing her shoulders back. Now, in weightlifting, what we want to do to engage the lats is we actually want to, without losing posture, and we'll see if Max can do this, is go ahead and relax her chin a little bit, right? So we don't need her to have a full chin lock, which ends up locking down her spine, right? So we want the chin to be able to breathe because the Olympic lift is a very athletic movement, which means we need a few degrees of freedom everywhere to be able to make these nuanced adjustments. Now, she's also going to lift her sternum. Right, there you go. Okay, so from here, then we're going to actually spin the elbows out, and we'll see if she can maintain that, because spinning the elbows out, what that does is it does create space in the shoulders, right? Because we are slightly internally rotating without internally rotating and protracting, right? Which can tend to happen. And what that does is when we spin the elbows out, if you guys have ever watched big beefy bodybuilders, when they do the lat flare, right? It's actually going to engage and flare her lats. It's also going to allow the bar to have a relatively easy and smooth path up her body. Now, if she were to crank her shoulders back and down, it does create a lock in the system, and I have had to do that with athletes who have maybe very stiff thoracic spines, right? Where as soon as we unlock the shoulders, because they're structurally blocked in this moment of their journey, right? The shoulders dump forward, and that's not a position, because then suddenly we get into the crazy elbow bend where they're lifting, basically segmentedly between their legs, hips, and arms, right? So that's how we tend to get that early arm pull. So Mags, what we're going to do is we're going to lift the sternum. Remember, unlock your chin a little bit, right? So what that lifting in the sternum does is it's also going to cue the shoulder to set back a little bit. So hopefully that helps you stay in location. And then we're going to spin the elbows out, and that's going to engage your lats. And that's how you hold the bar for this position. All right. How's that feel?
Feels weird.
Feels different, right? Yeah. So different is okay. Sometimes when you make a correction, it doesn't always feel good to the athlete because they're used to something else. So I have moved away from saying, hey, does that feel better? Does that feel good? And I'm like, okay, I'll take different, right? So when you're talking about good, bad, neutral is still good. So, okay, different, we'll take that. So from here, Mags, what we'll do is now we're going to talk about how to use your lats, right, to keep that barbell close. And we're going to focus on teaching her how to connect that bar from above the knee, right, which is typically your beginning of your acceleration phase of the barbell, into the power position, which is, going to be somewhere between like hip crease, right, depending on the length of your arms, to a couple inches below, which, if Mags, and you'll have to maybe reference the first video, during her extension has been taught, I can tell, to bring her hips to the bar. And what I don't know, because I've never coached her and I've never watched her be coached, is I don't know if she's also been cued to extend her knees. So when she was extending in some of her original movements, we saw that the hips came through really nicely. So she's bringing the hips to the bar, which we want that. We want the bar and the hips to come together. However, she was missing drive from her knees, and she's going to basically leave a lot of power on the table if she doesn't also engage the quads. And then other things will start to happen, like the bar might swing out in a way, right? If we only have the hips without the complement of the knees coming through. So from here, Max, what I want you to do is I want you to slide the bar down to the top of the knees. And what you'll notice here, guys, is you notice that she actually really only folded from the hip. So if she only folds from the hip, what that's going to do is that's basically called loading my butt like a deadlift, which means what are her options when she stands? That means she's really her only option for standing or extending is extending hips to the bar. So I actually want, yes, correct. It's like I've been doing this for a decade plus. No big deal. Right. So if we want the legs to also become involved, and I feel like the legs ends up being kind of like the ugly stepchild of the movement, right? They don't get as much attention as the hips, is that we need to bring a little bit more knee flexion into the movement. So as you go down, I want you to, yes, there we go. And so now you're simultaneously loaded between quads and hips. Okay, now go ahead and stand straight up, keeping the shoulders on top of the bar. Cool. And she's a good athlete. I told her to stand straight up. What I should have said was more clarification is I want you to pause at the power position.
Oh.
All right, so let's go ahead simultaneously. Yep, that's a good position. And then eyes, because our eyes, tell our body which direction we want to go. If the eyes are looking down, we're basically cueing the system to rotate forward, which basically is going to go against extension, right? So from here, eyes forward. It doesn't have to be an extreme neck tilt. And then stand and pause at the power position, right? And what you'll see here is that she, again, has a really strong groove or imprint of like shifting that hip forward. And what I simply want her to do is stand up and slide the bar in using her lats, right? And we may need further clarification for that. Okay, again, slide up. Good, and then without kind of tucking the chin more, keep your eyes, so see that, pretend there's a mark on the beautiful white wall over there and you're gonna keep your eyes fixed on it. Okay, slide down again, let's do that 5 more times. Eyes up. Good, down. Okay, so notice how she's still coming in, and this is where I might just be like, hey Max, let's put that bar down. Yeah, the reps add up, right? So from here, let's go ahead and just we're gonna make some knuckles, right? So just make a little knuckle, and you're gonna get into your starting position, and you're gonna just put your knuckles right here on your thigh, and that's gonna act like your barbell. It's gonna give you a little bit of feedback. So follow me, eyes are forward, right? I'm like loaded in my lats, so I'm like big bad weightlifter, right? Not anymore these days, guys. Lift the chin, lift the sternum up, right? There you go, find your lats. And then let's go ahead and we're gonna take it slow, follow me. I'm gonna guide you and then trace and drag the knuckles up the thigh. Pause, right there, it's okay, we're gonna go in the groove together. Guys, I'm like totally like what we call blocking her movement and just basically giving her the imprint. And down. And then straight up. Yes, you feel that difference? Mm-hmm. Down. And this is a simultaneous movement of quad and hip. Yes, there you go. Down, up, down, up. And we're just gonna keep going. And your athlete might need a lot of reps and you might just have to hang here with them. Up, down, up, down, up. This is like teaching my daughter how to ride a bicycle, but I wouldn't do the thing my parents did to me, which is suddenly let go.
Yes.
And they disappeared. I look back and fall over.
Right.
But in this instance, I'm going to tell you, hey, Max, I'm about to step away, and I want you to keep following this imprint. Yes. There you go. Let's do 5 more on your own. Mom, if you're watching this, I forgive you. And pause. All right, guys, try that out.